My name is Daniel Roy, and today I'm going to demonstrate 10 levels of 3-card Monte.
10 levels of sleight of hand. That sounds like a lot.
Now level 1 is how the game was originally played. It used a black queen, another perfectly identical black queen, and a third perfectly identical black queen. And they would just mark one of the cards with a big X to distinguish it from the other ones. Now the problem with the black queens is that there's so much ink on the cards that the marks are kind of hard to see. So level 2 is how the game was subsequently played, where they would use a red ace, and then they would use another red ace, and they would use a third red ace. And they'd mark one of the cards, but the markings are way easier to see because of all the space on the cards. Now level 3 is the rather obvious next step. Instead of marking the cards, just use contrasting cards. Like, for example, a red ace, and then 2 black queens. And that's how the game was played for many years, and that's how we're going to play it today. So, watch very closely. I can toss the money card down in the middle, or I can toss it down on the end. And then I'm going to mix the cards around. So here's level 4. I will toss the money card, the ace of diamonds, down in the middle, and then I'll mix the cards around. Now, it can be confusing because I crossed my hands, but you probably saw that the money card went over here, right? No? Well, let's try again for level 5. I'm going to move a little bit more quickly this time. I will toss the money card down on the end, then I'll mix the cards around again. Now imagine that you had some money in your hand, and you were trying to decide where to bet. Would you bet on card number 1, or card number 2, or card number 3? Most people here would bet down on the end, then I'll mix the cards around again. Now imagine that you had some money in your hand, and you were trying to decide where to bet. Would you bet on card number 1, or card number 2?
I believe this generation by them. Oh, the Forsen scores, I believe this generation by them. Oh, the Forsen scores, I believe this generation by them. Oh, the Forsen scores, I believe this
For level 5,
generation
I'm
by
going to move a
them.
little bit more quickly this time. I will toss the money card down on the end, then I'll mix the cards around again. Now imagine that you had some money in your hand, and you were trying to decide where to bet. Would you bet on card number 1, or card number 2, or card number 3?
I will bet on card number 1 because it's definitely not number 2, and then it's a 50-50 instead
Most
of a
people
1
here
and
would bet on card
3.
number 2 in the middle, which is what I'm hoping that you'll do, because the money card is back over
Fuck.
here on...
Never do I ever win a coin flip.
Now, I should mention that the game isn't played like this anymore. It was too difficult to keep track of the 2 black queens and the red ace. People found it too confusing. So level 6 is how the game is played these days, with 1 black queen and 2 red aces. And that's how we'll play it going forward. For level 7, I'll show you how the game is being played on the streets of New York
Oh, so
City.
that one was also a red ace. I was right.
The word is still being used to separate suckers from their money. Now remember, this is the money card. This is the card to follow. These days, the operator will toss the money card down, and then he'll show you that these cards here are both red. So when you bet on this card and find out that it too is red, some people theorize that in fact all 3 cards are red, which is true, just like at the beginning. All 3 cards are red. I mean, this card here is red, and this card here is red, and this card here is red. So all 3 cards are red except for this one, which is black. Well, for level 8, I'll show you how the game works, and I will explain why it's so easy to lose. When the operator tosses the money card down, you have to keep your eye on the money card. You cannot so much as glance at either of these 2 red cards here, because the moment you look at those cards, they'll switch the money card for one of those red aces. You see, they always keep the money card where you least expect it. So, now that you know how the game works, for level 9, why don't you pretend we're playing for real?
Okay.
Now, remember, this is the card you want to follow. So don't get distracted by these 2 red aces here. This is the card that you care about. So, I will
He
toss
bent
the
the
money
corner.
card down. And remember, don't watch this red ace here. Don't watch this red ace here. The card you want to follow is the black queen. And I will mix these cards as slowly as possible. once again, imagine you have some money in your hand. Which card would you bet on? Card number 1, card number 2, or card number 3?
3.
I think I put a little bend in the corner of that card. Oops. Let me straighten that out. Oh, lucky me. Now for level 10, we're going to take this many, many steps further.
What the
You might remember that
fuck?
I explained that when they used to use identical cards,
When
they
the
would take
fuck
a
did
marker
that
with the
happen?
X on the money card to distinguish it from the others.
Huh?
I'm going to do the same thing, but on the back of the card. So I will put a big X on the back of the money card, and this will mean that it'll be very, very easy to tell that Queen of Clubs apart from the back. It'll be very easy to distinguish the card from the 2 red aces. Now I'm going to add one more detail.
Is it though? Is it that card? Is it that card? Is it
The
card?
money card. So now it should be completely obvious which one the money card is because it literally has
Okay.
a corner torn out of it. Now I will leave this corner down here under the pen. Now watch closely because I'm going to mix those cards around. And I have to tell you, it's truly amazing how many people would bet on what seems to be the surest thing. Because you can see that that corner is an ace of diamonds and it matches perfectly front and back.
There was a camera cut
And
on
that
this
is
bitch.
why you should never ever play 3-card.
Don't smash it, okay? Don't smash it!
There
And I
was a
really
camera
believe
cut.
You really should never ever play 3-card Monte. Even after you've seen all these levels, and even if you think you understand the mechanics of the game, you should still never play. Why? Well, let's imagine you're walking along the street and you see a game of Monte. Now, this might be a game of Monte that uses cards, or it might use discs with markings on them. It could even use some shells and a pea, or bottle caps and a little paper ball. It doesn't matter what the props are, it's the same game every single time, and it's the same scam every single time. Now, the words scam and con are often used interchangeably, but there are some subtle differences between them, although they're both very applicable to 3-card Monte. So what's the difference between a scam and a con? Well, a scam is just a crooked game that you can't win. What makes 3-card Monte a con is the little bit when I accidentally bend up the corner of the card, because for a moment you think you're cheating me, and that's the definition of a con. Now, the way 3-card Monte is really played on the street, it's both a scam and a con. It's a scam because it's certainly a crooked game, but there are also parts of it where you will be made to feel as though you're going to cheat the operator.
I feel like as long as you get to turn over all 3 cards placed on the board, I feel like it would be fair, right? As long as it doesn't change the result after I pick a card. Like the money card is on the table and the 2 diamonds are on the table, right? As long as he doesn't change it after, it's fair game. But if you pick a card and he changes it out
He's going to cheat you.
while
and that's
showing
the
it to you
So you might be walking along
to a
and
non-winning
some
card,
people are betting.
then
Or
we're
really
talking about a
consumer
fucking
losing.
scam.
And you might think, oh, well, I should just join in the crowd because it's all of us against that one guy running the scam. No, it's all of them against you because every person you see there, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, is part of the con. If you ever see a player bet and win, they are a shill. They are part of the game. They're working with and working for the operator, the person who's actually mixing the cards around. If you see someone egging people on and trying to get them to bet more money and trying to stir up the crowd, they're also part of the game. If you see a very large, imposing guy standing near the back, he's also part of the scam. He's there to make sure no one does anything outrageous. This is a very carefully orchestrated con game where the entire team is working together to find the best possible mark on the street and then to take them off for as much money as possible. And there's this old adage that, oh, they'll always let you win the first time. If con men did that, they'd be broke. That's not true at all. They will cheat you the very first chance they get, and then they will leave. They may make you think you've won and make you think that you're going to be given money, but they won't do it. They will never pay you off, even if you were to find the right card. How? Well, there are a few methods. Often the operator will say something like, oh, I'm only going to take the highest bet on each round. So if you happen to bet on the right card, the operator would simply signal to one of the shills to outbet you. And of course, then if they bet on the right card, the same one you did, and they win, you think, oh man, I should have bet more on that card. And then of course you might bet more the next time. If instead they bet on the wrong card, and they're wrong, and then they lose their money, you think, wow, I got outbet by this idiot. This person didn't even know where the card was, and they bet more than me, and that's why they won. And of course, as a result, you'll be even more motivated to bet money on the next one. The other reason that you should never go into the crowd is because often they'll also just pickpocket you. If they're gonna con you out of your money anyway, they might as well just steal your wallet or your phone or anything else on you. So don't even go into the crowd. It's a rather dangerous space because you are...
Alright, good advice. I never tried. Never tried one of those. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and a comment of what you want to see next.